Can you hear my dog?
Yes.
Somebody's up there. It's probably Amazon.
It's a Tuesday evening here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And if you hear a dog barking, that's Joe's dog. Apparently, someone's at the door. Well, that's the dog's problem. In the meantime, we've got big changes on the way for Thursday and Friday, and maybe even some isolated severe weather for tomorrow. And the thermometers hit the century mark today in a few locations. We'll take a look at those and the weekend outlook and the tropics. All of that tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast very easily, I should say, and very simply. If you shop on Amazon, we recommend that you use our referral link that's pinned to the top of the chat board. It doesn't cost you one extra cent. Whatever you purchase, you purchase. Amazon throws us some coin for getting you there. And it keeps the live stream commercial free, which I know most of you like. You don't like having those ads popping up in the middle. So use the referral link and do your Amazon shopping for right here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And Tempest by Weatherflow. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system. Join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet, of which I am a part of. The link is on the description to this podcast on YouTube, on my YouTube channel page, right underneath the title of tonight's podcast. Use the coupon code. Whoops, I jumped ahead a little bit. Use the coupon code Summer 2025, because if you do, you will get
10% off.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I was listening for my dog upstairs.
Ah,
I knew what he was barking at, but
well,
anyway.
I have a thunderstorm around me because I think I hear rain, but I'm not sure. But I've been hearing rumbles of thunder in the last 15 minutes or so. Oh, yeah, no, it is definitely raining. Um, so I decided that at 7 o'clock, I took a look at my roof, and there's this big pile of dirt in the middle of my roof with a plant growing out of it. So I
Oh,
had to I had to go up and try to reach it, and it's exactly halfway down. Okay, so the pole, the I was using a rake, and then I used a broom, and of course it just maybe an inch short. So I've got to figure out how to do this. I'll probably figure that out tomorrow morning. And anyway, I came in, I had to take a quick shower so that I could be clean and presentable here on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. Did you get to 100 today?
fell 1 degree short, Joe.
You
It got
did?
to it got to 99 at 3:57 this afternoon, and we did see a record broken at Westchester Airport. They got to 96. The old record was 92. I think somebody posted that it was 96 at JFK Airport today, and LaGuardia 100 degrees.
They actually, I think LaGuardia got to 101. And in fact,
101.
yeah, I knew you were going to go there. In fact, I take it back. I thought I saw 101 there earlier, but I guess I was wrong. So these are some of the high temperatures. I'm going to add a few more here to the mix and see what we can come up with. Uh, hit the plus sign, hit times three. There you go. So I'll get really, really close up. So here are some of the numbers today. Central Park getting to 97. Newark, kind of surprised me. Newark, 100. So it really didn't. It tied with everybody else. 100 also at Teterboro and Fair Lawn at 101 in the Hudson Valley. White Plains 97. Poughkeepsie, Putnam Valley, Joe. Somebody in Putnam Valley has a weather station. I don't know if it's you. If that's you, it's a
No,
99.
nope, that's not me, but 99 pretty much was what I had. So if the other person who has a weather station is, taking records, got to 99, I would agree. It was a hot one
Well,
out there today.
are you located at latitude 41.34 north, 73.86 west? with 250 feet of elevation?
No, that couldn't be me. I'm up at about 475 feet elevation, and I don't think that's me. But I know there's somebody in the vicinity that is, taking weather records. So there you go.
Poughkeepsie, Poughkeepsie got to 100. Some 100-degree readings scattered around Connecticut. Also some 100 and 101 readings in parts of southeastern Pennsylvania. Uh, Trying to see where Philadelphia is. Chesterfield got to 99. Burlington 96. Philadelphia, Northeast Philadelphia 98. Philadelphia proper 100 there, and also some readings in the middle and upper 90s in the Washington D.C. Baltimore area, and just one other place we could take a look. Go upstate in New York and New England, Boston, um, Lynn, Massachusetts to 100, Maiden, Massachusetts 101, Roxbury 100, Logan 95, Watertown 98. A couple of 101s in here, and Notch, Route 116, Notch, 101 in Ware River Bear Falls, and Greenfield, Mass at 100. Albany got to Boston Lake 95, Albany International Airport 93. So there you go. It was indeed a hot day, and we got one more to get through tomorrow, Mr. Rayo.
I don't think it'll be as hot as today, but certainly 90 to 95 looks like a fairly good guesstimate. I think also that much of the day will be dry in many areas in the lower Hudson Valley. I did mention a slight risk of a thunderstorm or a shower popping up by day's end tomorrow. And if we don't get it by then, we're certainly in line to get it tomorrow night because the cold front that's going to be bringing the temperatures down significantly will be just to our north. Will be sweeping on through after midnight tomorrow night. Winds will turn into a northerly direction, but ahead of that cold front tomorrow, and I think you mentioned it already, Joe, potential for severe weather, maybe some strong wind gusts, possibly
Yeah.
some hail. And after that, on Thursday, with a wave of low pressure developing on the front to our south, that's going to accentuate or enhance the precipitation threat, not necessarily convection wise, but in terms of potentially heavy showery rains, which could lead to flash flooding or flooding, at least in poor drainage areas. I see that, and we'll show this, I'm sure, in the next few minutes. WPC has much of the Northeast under a slight risk for flooding here on Thursday.
I saw that. They even said in their discussion this morning, although I didn't see that they updated it, but I did see mention in the discussion this morning that they might have to go to a moderate risk. I think a lot depends on where the wave forms on the front and how close it moves up the coast. There's probably going to be a band of 2 to 3 inch rainfalls. Yesterday the models were pushing it further north. Now they've weakened it a little bit and shifted it further south. I tend to think it's probably going to be along and north of I-95 that probably winds up getting the heaviest rain out of all of this.
We'll see. Thursday is the day for wet weather.
Okay, welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board and those of you who are lurking in the background. We appreciate you being here on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. We're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. Fridays and Saturdays are off days for us. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. If you like the show, by all means, hit the like button. And David Fuller is the first to hit the tip jar tonight. Thank you, David, for hitting Super Chat. And, praising the over 100-degree high that he had and his 82-degree ocean water temperature. So he's a happy camper, at least until the upwelling comes. Now, I got the watches and warnings map. Today was probably the peak in temperatures in much of the east and eastern United States, north to south, because the upper ridge is starting to break down and shifting westward. And we were talking about this last week, that was where this was all going to go. But we still have various heat advisories and extreme heat warnings up, and they'll be up for at least another day. Air quality issues in Minnesota and Wisconsin. as well as the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We have severe thunderstorm watches up for south central and southeast Montana and a good chunk of Wyoming. Also, a smaller area in southeast South Dakota and northeastern Nebraska. Flash flood watches for a handful of counties in east central Colorado. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. And also covering a good chunk of New Mexico, and also seeing some flood watches up in parts of northern Idaho and into western Montana. I thought I'd start with the Pacific Goes loop, Mr. Rayo, because um, I was saying last night how when you deal with intensity with these hurricanes that go south of the Hawaiian Islands, uh, they always seem to surprise, and this one has Iona is almost a Cat 4, at least on the last advisory that I saw, and you see it here south of the Big Island. To the northeast of that, we have a small tropical storm, Kelly, and then to the east of that, you see another rotation that's developing, and that's likely to become a tropical depression in the next day or so as these things continue to march off to the west. And the Hurricane Center, I had it up there, but I guess I took it down, so let me bring it back up. So the Hurricane Center is, and here's where it looks like on the map. So you've got Iona with max winds of 125, and it's at 10.9 north, 155.7 west. Kelly is a minimal tropical storm, and that is at 12.8, 149.9. And then we have the system behind that continues to get better organized. It's 1,250 miles east-southeast of the Hawaiian Islands, and has now a 70% chance that this could become a tropical depression or a tropical storm in the next day or two. And just to show you on the map, with respect to Iona, it is way south of the Big Island of Hawaii. It's almost due south of it now by about 500 or so miles, and expected to march along on a west to west northwest course over the next 5 days and cross the international date line.
Well, the fact that it is a Cat 4, while it's not hitting the Big Island directly in an indirect manner, I'm sure that across all of the islands, there are all kinds of warnings for high surf, rip currents, sea swells being generated by that major system, again, that's passing south of the island. And if I remember, Joe, when they had that drought situation, the very dry air, the very droughty conditions over Hawaii, that part of the problem with the fires that broke out on Hilo was the very strong and gusty winds that were generated by a tropical system passing off to the south. Again, not a direct hit, but indirectly, the storm did have a say in the weather in Hawaii. And I'm not sure if that's going to happen again. I don't hope it is not going to happen again, but I'm sure that they're getting swells and rough seas all over and all around the islands.
Well, they have a tsunami watch up, believe it or not. They have a tsunami watch. Yes, let's see why. A tsunami watch is issued for the state of Hawaii effective at 1:33 p.m. Honolulu Standard Time. So this actually must have just gone out. I'm trying to see where the Zulu time on this is. The Greenwich Mean Time. I can't even see it. Anyway, a tsunami watch has been issued for the state of Hawaii, the whole state. An earthquake has occurred with these preliminary parameters. At 1:25 p.m., coordinates at 52.2 north, 160 east, or off the east coast of Kamchatka, Russia. And it was a 8.0 on the Richter scale.
Wow.
Based on all available data, a tsunami may have been generated by this earthquake that could be destructive on coastal areas even far from the epicenter. An investigation is underway to determine if there is a tsunami threat to Hawaii. So there you go. Here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, a tsunami watch.
Well, if that was issued at 1:33 Hawaii Standard Time, that was issued literally maybe about 10 minutes ago because
So this is
Hawaii is
breaking
six
news.
hours. It's that they're 6 hours behind us.
So this is
So
breaking news.
it is indeed 7:33 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 1:33 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. An earthquake 8.0 preliminary estimate. Now Kamchatka, if you know where Japan and Korea are located, Kamchatka is kind of like a narrow upside down triangle of land that's located. It's in Siberia. That's located to the north or northeast of Hawaii. Excuse me, north and northeast of Japan. So that's apparently where the Temblor has occurred, and if it's an 8.0, yeah, I would agree that it probably is generating a lot of energy and possibly could generate some activity all the way as far south as the Hawaiian Islands. So it's something that they're putting up just to be on the safe side, and we'll
Right.
see how this all develops in the coming hours.
Well, in the meantime, we will, of course, monitor any developments that occur here, and we're doing it live. In the meantime, we have nothing much going on weather-wise in the Northeast. The skies actually are basically clear. Did you have any haze today?
Uh, yes, I think it was kind of a hazy looking sky out there.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was
But
bright and sunny. By the way, this they in the I don't remember if you read this, but the alert for the tsunami, they said if tsunami waves impact Hawaii, the earliest arrival of the first tsunami wave would be 7:17 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. That would correspond to 1:17 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time after midnight tonight, tomorrow morning, July 30th. So it's going to be a while. If these waves are indeed on their way to Hawaii, they probably will not reach Hawaii for a number of hours to come.
yeah, I didn't have. If I knew this was coming, I would have at least tried to find some coastal cameras. See if we get any shots of the beaches there. Not that we would see anything, but just to see if there's people standing around waiting for the tsunami to come wash them away. I don't know. In the meantime, we've got some patchy shower and thunderstorm activity. You can see there's lot of lightning strikes going on this evening across South Carolina, western North Carolina into Georgia, and most of that's actually moving southwestward. Also, some storms closer to the Gulf Coast and a few storms there in Florida. Again, moving mostly northeast to southwest around the periphery of the upper high. And then on the west side of that high, you're getting thunderstorms breaking out across New Mexico and eastern Colorado and extending up into the plains. And then you have the upper trough that's going to be responsible for the cool air mass that's coming down is beginning to drop into the northern plains. And that is creating the thunderstorms that you see there. No severe thunderstorm warnings are up in any of the storms that we're looking at in the southeast. If you take a look, actually, I take it back. There are two. I just refreshed the radar. So there are two, one in southwestern Virginia, the other one in west central North Carolina. But that's it. Then we go out to the west, and you've got this sort of snaking area of line segments with these thunderstorms and a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, actually three of them as of 7:54 p.m. Eastern Time in southeastern South Dakota. Some more storms in Nebraska. We've got some flash flood warnings up in south along I-25 in Colorado, south of Denver, closer to the New Mexico state line, and a couple of flash flood warnings on the New Mexico side as well. And then we have some scattered areas of severe weather across Montana and Wyoming. The Storm Prediction Center for tonight has that whole area there from western Iowa northwestward into southern Montana under a slight risk for severe storms. And we've got two severe thunderstorm watch boxes in the blue. In the east, you're seeing this area of general thunderstorms that's being indicated in the southeast, no severe there. Tomorrow, we just have a marginal risk but it extends from Maine to Pennsylvania and then west from Pennsylvania to Missouri and Iowa, another area of marginal risk on the east slopes of the Rockies from Colorado northwestward up into Montana, and the southern edge of that actually noses into northwest Texas. And on day three, no severe weather is being forecast. Day three is Thursday into Friday. No severe weather is forecast, just general thunderstorm activity. And I would think that is going to be the case because rain is going to be the main issue with whatever happens for Thursday night into the first part of Friday.
And with that rain, we're expecting a big drop in the temperature from near 100 today, 90 to 95 tomorrow on Thursday. Joe, I think at least in the lower Hudson Valley, temperatures will be hard pressed to make it much above the mid 70s, if not staying even below that.
Well, while it's raining, if it's raining Friday morning, it's probably going to be in the 60s.
Yes, yeah,
You know,
absolutely. And then the
so
question is, can we see temperatures climb out of the 60s and back into the 70s by day's end on Thursday, in spite of the rain and the cloud cover?
oh yeah, I think well, yeah, that's the variable that we'd have to figure out. Does the rain move out in the middle of the day and maybe the sun comes out for the mid to late afternoon in some places? And the temperatures should probably bounce up a bit if that happens. But it's a new air mass and a cool air mass, and that's I think the bottom line in all of this as we when we head to the weekend. WPC has really pulled back on the rain amounts, but they still have an area of an inch and a half plus. So basically, in southeastern Pennsylvania, western New Jersey, along and north and west of I-95 is where they have an inch and a half to maybe 2 inches. And then on either side of that, it's between an inch and a half. And of course, we always caution in these sorts of situations that um, you get some convection in there. Somebody winds up with double the amount. So that's possible, and there could even be some localized flash flooding. Heavier rains in the southeast and back across Georgia and into Alabama on the order of 2 to 3, and even in some cases 4 to 5 inches along the Carolina coastline down into coastal Georgia. An area of inch and a half to 3 inch rains from eastern Nebraska into Illinois. This is over the next 7 days, but the bulk of what you see in the east is really coming from what's going on right now. And when we take a look at the latest European model run for tomorrow, still in the same old air mass. There's a little upper trough and a little frontal boundary that goes by in the afternoon. You see some pop-up storms. Doesn't really do very much overnight Wednesday night, but by Thursday morning, there's stuff popping up, and you've got that wave in Kentucky that's going to go eastward. It has it over Chesapeake Bay, and then there's like this arm of rain on the north side with an east wind, and you can see there's patches of heavy rain being generated. It goes into Friday. Actually, the European Joe would argue that it could rain into Friday afternoon and really not see improvement until very late in the day, in which case it could wind up being in the 60s all day with a northeast wind.
Well, yeah, Tom Contino points out that the GFS Moss has a high on Friday for White Plains of 68. And that may be all well and good, Tom, but when you've been doing this now for over 40 years, you don't just simply look at the numbers that are generated by Moss and say, okay, I'll pick that. You got to mix in a little bit of your empiricism, your knowledge of the way the weather works, and sometimes the man-machine mix is better than simply just going with what comes off of the machine. So that's why I think I'm going for temperatures on Friday of I think 75. Did I go 75 on Friday? I don't have my forecasts in front of me, but could very well be. Joe just mentioned about the precipitation
I mean,
lingering into.
The European says it's still raining at 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
I mean, and if
Okay.
that's the case, I mean, if it's raining all day on Friday, it's going to be in the 60s all day.
Okay. I just checked my Hudson Valley weather, and I went for a high on Friday of 70. I thought I
All
went
right, well,
75,
that
but
covers it.
yeah, so that's pretty much as I said. If it may go down into the 60s, and actually Friday night, I've got low temperatures across the lower Hudson Valley in the upper and middle 50s. So it's going to be dependent upon where the wave forms, how fast it moves, and a number of other things. But one thing is for certain: this weekend is going to be a gorgeous weather weekend. Mostly sunny, pleasantly warm, near 80 on Saturday, and probably low to mid 80s, sunny, seasonably warm on Sunday. Without a question of doubt, this is going to be the best weekend weather-wise that we have seen in many, 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 many weeks around here. So, regardless of what we get on Thursday and Friday, it should be great for Saturday and for Sunday.
Meanwhile, the
It's
frontal
got to be
boundary
great.
with this
It's
is
got to be. It's got to be great for Saturday because it's my birthday. So
that's
there you
right.
go.
We couldn't have it any other way.
Yes.
We the southern part of this frontal boundary is going to struggle in the southeast, and hence we do have beginning, well, to some extent, beginning this evening, and then again tomorrow there will be showers and storms forming. And you see how the European has got them from Western Virginia down into northern Florida. Then they kind of wane during the overnight hours. They fire up again on Thursday. And then with that frontal boundary kind of stalled, we see showery rains firing up again on Friday and again on Saturday and again on Sunday. So maybe some prolonged period where I don't have to use my water to water my my land. The rain will do it for me. The high eventually is going to go out as they always do, but we'll probably hold on to some of that dry air in early next week. There's another high that tries to build down from eastern Canada. We'll have to see um, how much of it can build down and a little bit of an onshore flow. So it's not like we're flipping back to heat after this thing goes out, or at least not initially flipping back to heat. But it does look to be. I want to just see what the dew points are doing next week. So let's take a look. I'm going to go closer so we can get a close up. Actually, I'll use the eastern so I can take a look at what my situation is here. But we've got dew points starting from so Friday, of course. If it's cloudy and rainy all day, you're going to have dew points in the low and mid 60s if the temperatures are in the mid to upper 60s. But then on Saturday, you get your dew points down into the 50s, 40 dew points not that far away to the north. Sunday, dew point gets down to 50 in northern New Jersey, with some 40 dew points in central Pennsylvania, dew points in the 50s down into Virginia and western North Carolina. Not quite to me on this particular run for Sunday. Gets close. My dew point gets down to 61, which I will take. And then Monday, Joe, the dew points are actually go down to some on Monday for some reason. Even though the high moves out, you've got that other high coming into eastern Canada. So I guess some of that dry air, some of the dry air with the second high filters down. So dew points on Monday and even on Tuesday are still in the middle 50s. It's not till we get to Wednesday that we get to dew points by the end of the day Wednesday, at least on the European, back to the mid 60s. So you play your cards right, it could wind up staying dry for a while.
Well, we may stay dry for a while, but boy, I tell you, we're going to really make up for it in spades. In terms of precipitation from tomorrow night through Thursday and maybe into the first half of Friday as well. Oh, look at that. That's a lovely shot.
Isn't that a lovely shot?
Yeah.
Uh, I didn't mean for that to come up. I was pulling up a Briller Jeopardy. I usually take the map off. That picture's from maybe about 6 months ago. So I had him yesterday. We went to the town pool. I discovered yesterday, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the fact that I'm at an age now where an hour and a half out, or maybe 2 hours outside in the blistering heat is way too much for me. Way too much.
It'd be way too much for most anyway. You talk about today here. I mean, who wants to be spending 2 hours? Although I will tell you that my son, he brought our grandson over here for a couple hours today because there were men who were coming to his house to reseal his driveway. Can you imagine doing that? Any kind of work, paving or whatever in this type of weather? Crazy.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, no, I can't. All right, back to 90-degree days on Briller Jeopardy tonight for the summer months, June through August. And we'll start with Virginia Beach.
Okay.
90-degree days in Virginia Beach.
All right. Well, let's figure that one out. Um, hmm. I'm gonna say again because of the proximity to water and also Norfolk, Virginia too is in that same area. I'm gonna say 23.
Um, it's low, Joe. It's low. It's higher than that. Actually, we already have a winner, David Fuller, with 30 days in Virginia Beach.
Are we waiting for the bell? There's the bell.
The
30 for
next
David.
one, the next one is San Diego.
San Diego. Um, well, I'm trying to think of what possibly it could because they well
Do,
it's
do,
the
do,
average
do,
you know
do, do,
the
do.
average high in San Diego, and we mentioned that in a Briller Jeopardy like a couple of weeks ago. The average high in July is 75.
Right.
I don't really think that it could be all that much. Um, all right, you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say 12.
Yeah, that's way off. Actually, Craig Carlberg is the closest one on the chat board because he went with a goose egg. The answer is one. One.
Wow.
One day.
And you would think at least that being, well, it all depends, I guess, on where the airport exactly is relative to the coast, but you'd think that, a place that's just inland from the south coast of California would probably have a fair complement of 90-degree days.
Oh yeah. You don't have to go far. Seattle.
Seattle. Um, well, Seattle has had in recent years some really blistering hot days. And the question is, how many of them do they get? I'll say, I'll say, what do I say? 11.
That's way too high. Latex Dreams at 3, Chuck Cardillo at 5, and David Fuller at 4. The answer, and William Uber at 4. The answer is 4. 4. 4 minutes in one. Washington, D.C.
Well, New York has had 17 days, and I think we said Boston had 13, and Philadelphia. What did we have for Philadelphia? Oh, we didn't do Philadelphia, so we really can't say. Um, 13, 17, 21. I'll say 27.
We have a winner, two winners, Rich Rothmansky and Chuck Cardillo, 34. 34. And Tampa, Florida, who just made their first 100-degree high the other day. Tampa, Florida.
Okay. What did we say the other day for Orlando? We had Miami. We had Miami. We said 91, and New Orleans was 91. So Tampa can't be all that far behind. I think. I'll say. You know what? What the hell? For consistency, I'll say 91.
So 91 days out of
Yes.
92
Yes.
on par with Phoenix.
Yeah, on par with Phoenix, and also on par with.
Well, you not only fell off the mountain. The mountain climber not only fell off the mountain, but he wound up falling through a chasm on the very bottom. No,
Oh,
way
you see
too
what I
high.
screwed up? You know what I screwed up? I screwed up because I was looking at the questions and I thought 91 was the number of days between June and August or whatever. It's not. It's the average high in July for New Orleans is 91
Oh,
and
okay.
Miami 91. That's why I screwed up there. So
All right. Let's see. Rich Rothmansky, Latex Dreams at 60.
now
And
New Orleans was 65.
right.
So they'll probably be in that vicinity, I guess
Well,
now.
Tampa
60.
Tampa is 61. 61.
See, now if I
So
hadn't been so stupid and chose the wrong column.
okay, so two bonus questions. The first one is the highest temperature ever recorded in Montreal.
Well, Montreal, and in recent years, we've seen some really high temperatures, not 100 necessarily, but I think that they have probably hit 100. And if International Falls could hit 100, in fact, they got to 103. We mentioned that as a bonus question the other day. Why not? Let's go. I'm going to go with a high of 108 from Montreal.
108. That's way too high. Carol DeCara gets it. 100 on the nose. 100 on the nose. And
Really?
yes, 100 on the nose, and that was set on uh where'd it go? Oh, here it is. August
Oh,
1st, 1975. And the other side of the of Canada, the highest temperature ever recorded in Vancouver, British Columbia.
I'll say 101.
Nope, that's way too high. Here, this was not your night.
No, it's not.
Um, no, it's not. I will tell you that it is not a triple digit number. Chuck Cardillo, ring the bell for Chuck Cardillo and for Carol DeCara, 94, and Mike Waterhouse Bonsai, 94.
There you go.
All right, that's good.
Congratulations. And
That's
that
good.
high temperature of 100 for Montreal, you said August 1st, 1975, the following day, which was the Saturday, the hot day in New England where records were broken left and right, including up on Mount Washington with their temperature of 70 degrees. So that period, August 1st and August 2nd, 1975, that's when, well, probably they had a hot day just like what we saw here in the Northeast today.
I just gave Hawaii a quick check. We have no other breaking bulletins, so the tsunami watch remains in effect. So I guess you'll have to wake up tomorrow morning and see if it's the lead story that if there is a tsunami there, and we surely hope that there isn't a tsunami in Hawaii. So
Well, I'm glad my kids were in Hawaii last week, so I'm glad that they're not. And you want to know something funny, Joe? Well, not funny, but ironic. 2 years ago, they were in Hawaii, and right after they came back, the those horrendous fires on Maui, which they visited, they saw Maui. They thought
right,
Maui was a beautiful island or whatever like that. They left Maui, the fire started, and so I'm hoping that this is not a case of a repeat.
a
2 years
repeat
later,
performance.
they leave Hawaii just in time before the tsunamis arrive.
Yeah. All right. I got this thunderstorm underway here, so I'm going to go and watch it. And in the meantime, I will suggest that everybody have the a good rest of your evening, and we will be back tomorrow night. Actually, that's Miss Fowlerite. You are. Let me check. Actually, no. There's no tsunami warnings up in Hawaii, in Alaska. You would think there might be, but I guess they don't have one. So anyway, uh, so we'll see what happens when when we're back. Same time tomorrow, 7:35 p.m. Night night, everybody.
Good night, folks.